Hey everyone, so I'm going to show you how to use the UDisc app. If you are a middle years or senior years teacher and you are allowed to have your students use their cell phones and they do have some data, even if not all your students have phones, I really strongly recommend you teaching them how to use this app and letting them use it in class. And not just because it's just a new cool toy to use, but really the app does increase adherence, and it's something that when they leave the school, or when they even after school when they leave, if they know how this app works and they know it's there, they can use it to go outside, find a course, keep their scores, and which is going to make them more likely to want to keep playing based on how it's all set up. And really what that comes down to and what that creates is kids getting their steps and being more physically active while also being in the presence of nature, being outside, communicating, learning how to uh, play with others, and interact with others in a physically active setting. So really, I can't strongly encourage enough trying out this app, learning it yourself so that then you can introduce it to your students and you can use it effectively in part of your teaching to enhance your own phys ed program. If you do teach younger students, you're likely not going to use this app with them. However, I still think there's a lot of value in you knowing how to use this app and just being aware of it, because I do truly believe the way that this sport is going, that it is going to be something that is more involved and more common in the school system. And I think it's important for all phys ed teachers to at least have some experience with the app and just be aware of it. And you never know if you're going to one day make your own little course, and this is something for you to do to allow the community to come and use your course and access it and have their own map. So maybe this is something one day, you never know, in 10 years that you might set up. Or even if you create a temporary course and you have parents come after school, this might be something you do in the future. I think even for an early years teacher, having this knowledge, if you're applying for a grant or some sort of funding, or you just need to sell your vision of maybe getting some baskets or any sort of disc golf equipment, having this vision and going in front of a parent council committee and bringing this up, this use of technology and potential future for the community to use it with the app, could be the difference between scoring some funding for equipment and getting the equipment and not. Okay, so let's get into it and let's see how we can use UDisc. So first you're going to need to download the application onto your phone or device. And you can see it's the U right there that says UDisc. So I'm going to click that. At first you're just going to have to make a profile. Usually you can make one for free, and then you can use it actually for about 10 free rounds. So 10 times you can go play for free. And then after that, it costs about $15 a year, which it's well worth it if you're going to go and use it beyond those 10 times. And this shouldn't be an issue with your students, because you're not going to use 10 rounds, or they're not going to play 10 rounds during your program, during phys ed. And if they do play more, that's a good problem. And there's some ways to get around it, or they could pay the $15. I have a friend who will actually delete the app and make a new profile after every 10 times. So, I mean, you could get around it that way. However, I don't recommend that, as you're going to see it keeps track of some cool stats. And personally, I think it's just worth having those stats so that you can look back and reflect, and it's worth just paying the money. Okay, so I open the app. Once you've get it all set up, the first thing you're going to do is at the bottom, you're going to see rounds, courses, events, profile, and more. When you're first looking for a course, you're going to press the courses. Use our GPS on our phone to see where we are. So I'm at the blue dot. I live in Oak Bank, so that's where I am. And as you scroll out, you can see all the different courses that are around you. So you can see there is a little course in Oak Bank. It's just a small one. But if I scroll out, and maybe I'll go more towards Winnipeg, you're going to see all the different courses that are in the Winnipeg area. Now, when I first started playing disc golf a couple of years ago, there were just maybe 2 of these little baskets. So yeah, these are just disc golf baskets, those little logos. That's where all the different courses are located. So when I started playing, there was probably 3 or 4 of these little baskets around the Winnipeg area, and just maybe 5 or 6 all in Manitoba, if I remember correctly. Now, as I scroll out, you can just see how much growth there has been in the sport in just our province. There's all these different courses that have popped up and you can play. So we'll go back to Winnipeg though. So if I want to play, let's say, this course right here, or maybe I'm just trying to check out what courses are around me and I want to maybe play, I can just click on them and there's just a little description that'll pop up. So it'll tell me the course, what it's called, where it's located, how far away. I currently have it in miles. I think you can change it to kilometers. So this Happy Land Park from where I'm located in Oakbank, it's 11 miles away. In the top right corner, it'll give me a ranking out of 5, and that's a rating system that people that go and play the course, they'll give them a rating out of 5 stars. And so it gives you kind of an idea how good the course is. So let's click Happy Land Park here. Now, once I click the park or wherever I want to play the disc golf course, you're going to see, top left here, it says, or in the green square here, you can see it says 3.9. So that's 3.9 out of 5. So it's a pretty good course. And you can even see how many people have played it. There's been 433 people that have played it on this app that have given it a rating out of 5. As I go down, I can see, okay, it's good condition. I can see maybe even some pictures of it. So some examples of what it might look like. It looks like it's a pretty nice course. They have tee pads, it looks like. The baskets look okay. They have signage. It tells me how many holes there are. So 18 holes. There's tee pad. The tee pads are concrete, so that's good to know. A lot of times they're grass, which is also okay, but it's nice sometimes to play on concrete. You'll see there's some different layouts. So before I go, I might want to check out what layout I want to use. So there's the 18. So if I click on that, I can see kind of how the layouts are going to work. And here it looks like there's actually only 9 baskets, and each basket there's 2 hole locations. So here's where number 3 is going to start. It's going to finish at that basket, the green basket there. Also number 12, hole number 12 will also have a different hole location starting spot, and it's going to finish there as well. Maybe I'll check out the 9-hole course map. Now, when you thought you had enough information to make a decision whether you want to go play this place, there's more. There's reviews, and so personal reviews people have written out. You can check that out. And then you're thinking, okay, how do I get to this course? There's more. You can get directions using either Google Maps or Google or Apple Maps. It connects to this app and it gives you specific directions how to get to the course, and which is great for if it's your first time or you don't know the area well. And then sometimes you're even in a rural area where you're not from around there and you're having to use gravel roads. You don't need to go down the wrong road or go the wrong way. And so it's just such a great way to allow you to access these different places you've never been before. And if you're out of town and you are looking for some time to kill, just plug it into your map and you got half an hour to go play a course. There you go.
Oh,
What's going on?
absolutely dead center.
That was nasty. Look at this. Around the tree. Heart perfect height. Great edge.
Wow. With the page pier.
Some of these courses, they're target courses, meaning that they have like designated trees and posts that you're aiming at. But a lot of them have actual baskets to play on, and so you're just gonna have to click on them to find out. But let's look at a couple schools that have used UDisc to set up their own course. So first I'm gonna go to the course I made at my previous school, Prince Edward School. So I'm just gonna click on one of the baskets. This specifically is the Prince Edward School course. So as you can see, as when I press on it, I can see some pictures. So you can do this to your course if you want to, but you don't need to necessarily. So if we look at their course at Prince Edward, if I go to down here, it says layouts as I scroll down, and you can see there's two different layouts. So as a phys ed teacher, you can create layouts by, let's just give you an example. So this is the schoolyard. Now when students go to play, but let's say, for example, this was a high school, the phys ed teacher can make the course on the app, and then students could come outside using their phone and they can keep track of their score. So they would know where each of the holes starts. So there's hole 1. You can see the little box where the hole 1 starts, and where it finishes is the basket. And so they would go around, they'd play the 9 holes, they'd keep track of their score. Let me show you here how that would work. So I have 2 different layouts. They're actually the same starting point where you would start with your disc and play to where you would stop where the basket is. But there's different pars that I've made for these 2 different courses. And so I've done that so that students at different skill levels, they can play a different layout based on their skill level. So the top one, that's called rocks. And I've called it rocks because at our course we use rocks to indicate where to start. So there's the hole 1 rocks. And it just says how far away it is. And there's the basket. I've called it rocks, but it's a par 28. You can see it says it's rocks. 9 holes, par 28, meaning you want to take around 28 shots ideally to finish the hole, or the all 9 holes, which obviously that's not the goal necessarily for the students, but it's just a target to aim for. Whereas main, if I go down to main, if I wanted to play main, it's still 9 holes. It's still the same layout where you start and where you stop, where the basket is. But the par you can see is 22, so it's less shots. So people with a higher skill level, or students with a higher skill level, you might challenge them to play a different layout that has a higher or lower par. And so that way, let's say they're playing with a partner, one student who shoots a 3 on a hole and another student that shoots a 4 on a hole, they could be actually tied in one sense because their par might look different. For example, if you look at hole 1 here on rocks, the par is 3, versus if we look at the main layout on hole 1, the par is 2, meaning to be at par after hole 1, on rocks you need to shoot a 3, and on main you need to shoot a 2. So let's say one student shoots a 4 and one shoots a 3. Well, they both could be 1 over par or both shoot a bogey, even though they have different scores, just so that you can get different students competing against each other at different levels. Or you can make teams of students, and you can have a team that maybe doesn't have quite as skilled players play against each other and keep it competitive and fun. Let's just go for an example though, just so you guys can see how this works. So if I press rocks, let's go to rocks here. That's the layout. You know what, actually, let's do this. Let's create a scorecard so you can see. So I'm going to go create scorecard. I can choose which one I want to play on. I'm going to play on rocks. At this point, you can pick yourself. So this is me, Tyler McGurry. I'll probably pick myself. But let's say you have a friend you're playing with and they don't have UDisc. You can create a little account for them. There's me and Eric are going to play. I'm going to create scorecard. Oh, and you could even see there, I had the option of making teams or individual. I just picked individual. So it brings us to hole 1. It gives us our distance and the par. And so that's our starting location here, where the box is. And you can see where the the green circle is with the basket in. That's where we're going to aim for. So when I start, the blue dot where my GPS, with the GPS connection to my phone, there'll be a blue dot on the screen. And so if I don't know where to go necessarily, where the starting point is, I'll just walk around and my blue dot will move with me. Now I'm not at the school, so you're not going to see my blue dot. So I'd walk to the box here where hole 1 is, and then I'd throw it. Let's say after the hole, I shoot a 3. So I'm just gonna use the plus and minus button to indicate I've shot a 3. And let's say Eric has shot a 4. So I'm gonna mark 4 in for him using the plus and minus button. You can see on the left side, Tyler McGurry, I'm even. I've shot 3 on that hole, and Eric is 1 over par plus 1, and he's shot 4 shots so far. Now we're done the hole. We've got our discs in the baskets. Now we're ready to go to the second hole. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to swipe to the right, putting my thumb on the bottom part of the screen. I'm going to swipe to the right, and you can see now I'm on hole 2. If you look at the top left, it says hole 2, and also on the bottom it says we're on number 2. Okay, now I swipe to the right. Now I can use my blue dot wherever it is on my screen where I am, and I can follow. I can look at my phone and walk towards the next box, the next tee box. Now let's say I shoot a 2, I got a birdie, and let's say Eric shot a 4. So now you can see I'm 1 under par. I've taken 5 shots, and Eric is 2 over par. He's taken 8 shots. Now I'm going to swipe to the right to go to the third hole. Here we go. And so same thing. Let's say I shoot a 5. I'd mark that in. Eric shot a 4. Swipe to the right. I'm now on to the next hole. I'm on the the fourth hole. And you can see, I see where the basket is. I see where my starting spot is. Let's say Eric shot a birdie. He shot 2 on the hole, and I shot 5. I shot a double bogey. Okay, we're on hole 5. I'm just going to put some scores in here. Hole 6, I'm going to put another couple scores in. Hole 7, I'll just make some scores up. And after 9 holes, it's going to give us a summary of the 9 holes, and this is also the end of my scorecard too, because this is only a 9-hole course. But you can see now what Eric shot, what I shot. We can look at each hole. It shows the pars, and it shows what we scored, and the blues indicate I was under par, or I shot like a birdie or an ace. And anywhere where it's yellowy orange, I shot more than the par score. And if it's white, I just shot par. So I'm done. I press finish round. I can give an update to the course. I can rate it. I'm just going to say it's good. Update. And now I'm done. Now it's in my system. I can see like what the wind is, how long it took me to play the course, how many steps. Now it doesn't show the steps right now because I actually didn't play it. And I can look down. It gives me some more stats right away. And then I can also share my scorecard. So I can share image. And I can either choose just to share the full scorecard like this. And I'm going to actually send it to Eric. He's going to not know what's going on. And I'm just, oh, you can see I was just trash talking him. The Chargers just had a good day at the office. I'm a big NFL Chargers fan. So I sent that to Eric. So now if I want to share that score with Eric, he now has a text with our scorecard on it. Or if, for instance, the kids could send a text to a teacher, or not even a text, but through Teams, they can share through Teams and share their scorecard with their phys ed teacher. As if I share that scorecard image again, I can choose either myself or Eric's scorecard. So let's pick myself, and I'll just send that to Eric. But again, you could share that on Teams, and then the phys ed teacher would get on Teams, if the student sent it to them, their scorecard that looks like this. And here in the stats breakdown, you can see how many birdies, bogeys, pars, double bogeys, and greater. Anyways, let's go back here. Let's look at a couple other schools that have courses. So you're going to see we have one at Prince Edward School, a school I actually used to work at out in Winkler here. And Bryce, who's in the call with us, this is his school that he works at currently. Emerado School course. They have their disc golf course on UDisc as well, and they have a beautiful 9-hole basket course. So they have 2 layouts. They have, you can see here, they have their school, elementary school here. They have a middle school here, and then they have some city, because it's in Winkler, they have some city park area that is attached to the school playground areas that they're also sharing and putting baskets on. But anyways, you can see they have the 9 holes. So 3 of the holes the middle school uses on their property, 3 of the holes the elementary school uses on their property, 3 holes are the city in the city park. So the community could use it during the day. But then after school, they could, both the elementary school or the middle school could use it for clubs or whatnot. And of course, I'm sure they also do use it during the school day. They just communicate with one another. But let's ask Bryce how they do that in a minute. But they also have 18 hole. Even though they only have 9 baskets, they have 2 different starting locations, so that you can play 18 holes as well at that school course. There's also one in, I think, Steinbach. Their layout, they just have, it's pretty wide open, it looks like, by the looks of it. I've never been there though, but they have one too, just in their field there, 6 holes. And we've got a new course in Toulon. I went and checked it out not too long ago. It's pretty cool, little cool setup at the elementary school there. They have 6 baskets, and they have some really cool little holes there. And let's see here, just on their schoolyard, and it's right next to their middle school. So here, this is what may be more likely your option. Something like this. I see that Sturgeon Heights Collegiate PE. If you look at their description, students and staff from Sturgeon Heights can use this course when it is set up. And so, meaning it's not there after school. This is what you guys would probably be doing when you first start. So what they've gone and done is the phys ed teacher made the course on UDisc, and then when they're ready to have the students play, they just go put the baskets out, and then the students can access this UDisc information and they can play it. Create their own online scorecards. Let's just quickly look and see how we would make our own course and layouts. Is you can go to more, and you can create your own course. So you go down to add new course. So you put your name in. So maybe it's whatever your school's called. I'm currently at Wayota Elementary. We won't do this, but it's probably, middle school, especially high school. This would be really good for, because they all have their phones. Wayota Elementary School, maybe I might call it phys ed. You just put some descriptions in. It of course would be a temporary, so I might just put temporary. It's unavailable for other people because it's not going to be there after school. Then you would submit. At the bottom, you submit the course for review. UDisc will take a day or two to review it. They'll generally accept it unless there's something they want you to fix, and they'll send you an email saying you've been approved or you need to fix this. Once you've been approved, then using the GPS, you go around. Let's see here. I can just show you even on another course. Let's go back to Prince Edward School here. Once it'll be added onto the UDisc app under courses, so you can find it. You would click on it, and you would go to update layouts once you got to your page. So let's say I would go to courses. It's not here right now because I didn't actually make it, but I'd go to the Wayota School course, which would just be appeared here. There would be a basket. I'd click on it, and what I would then see, which I'll just go here though, is there'd be this information, and I'd go to where it said layouts. There wouldn't be any, but you would press update layout, and you would say add new public layout, and you would name it. So let's say it's called Wayota. It's 9 holes maybe. Skill level, maybe I'll just put NA, and I want them all to be par 3s. Maybe you had one that's longer, you put it as a par 4. Maybe this is for beginners and you want it to be really easy, so you have them as par 5s or par 6s. It's kind of up to you. You'd submit layout for review. UDisc would get back to you. Once they've got back to you, then you can actually walk around, and you'd have to play on the app. You'd get an idea how to do it. And then you'd walk around, and you'd using your GPS in the app, you would select where you wanted starting hole locations and where you wanted baskets, and you would actually make a map that way. And then when it's time for phys ed class, you would place your baskets or your objects you're aiming at, your targets, and you maybe put pylons out for tee boxes, and you would have them use the app, and they can keep track of their scores using the apps. And I can actually see some other analytics here. I can see my rounds, so I can see all the times that I've played Happy Land Park, anytime that I've been on UDisc and that I've tracked it. So I've shot plus 13 my first time in March 14th, 2020. I shot, my best was January 9th. Yeah, that's right, you play in the winter. January 9th at 10:32 a.m. I shot 2 under par, 52 for 18 holes. I can actually click on it and I can see all my stats. So you can see I started off with a bogey, then I parred. The 3rd hole I got a birdie. I got a birdie on the 7th hole. So I was 1 under par after 9. Then the back 9 I had a lot of birdies, so, and a couple other. You could see how long it took. It took me 59 minutes. If you look under the hole 18, it says 59 minutes. How many steps I took? Almost 4,000 steps. It tells me the wind, how much wind there was based on, it uses the weather apps, it corresponds with it. Tells me what the temperature was. So it was a nice day for January. And so you can go back and reflect. And so those are all my other ones. Now I can also press my stats, and it takes all your information from all your rounds and it compiles it and makes, so you can look at where you're struggling, what kind of shots maybe you're using, what you need to practice. So I can see that hole number 4, I've had a lot of birdies on. I do pretty well on that. I have 3 birdies. Hole number 11, I've got 4 birdies. Somewhere I'm struggling. Let's see here. Hole 16, I seem to struggle on. I've got 8 bogeys and I've got 2 pars, so I'm not doing so well there. So maybe I'll just go to that hole and practice it a lot, or I'll practice certain shots there. Gives you your average. It's so a pretty interesting app. And if I go down, there's even some more stuff. You can also kind of see how, compare yourself to other people and stack yourself against others, not only by sharing your score to your friends, but if I go to view leaderboard, I can see how everyone else is doing, and you can see like how the top people are doing. You can see even people. I like to do is look at people that are around me and kind of keep track of them, and just for my own, because I mean, I don't play enough to be as competitive with these guys, so I like to just look at people that kind of score around me. And it's always fun just to look at, even you can look at where you scored in the week. Maybe you're in the top 10 in the week on you had a good round, so maybe you've shot like the 9th best score of the week, or you can look in the last 30 days where you stack up, or even the best is going early in the morning and looking in the last day and then seeing if you did score the high score of the day so far. So it was like going at like 6 in the morning and seeing if I have the best score on that day, which usually I do, and then seeing if it holds up by the end of the night. I'll check again and see if I still held that score, or if I'm in the top 10. So some fun stuff to play around with.
Careful of the hill behind it. Too far past and a downhiller. Oh my
Whoa,
goodness.
whoa,
Look at
whoa.
this roller?
What?
I see you, boy. I thought about it.
What? Why? No.
No
What?
way.
What?
Oh my.
Great shot.
What?
I don't feel like they even really know how good that is from here. That is,
Nobody told us that was an option or a play that anyone would do.
oh my goodness, 585. And this grass is thick and Kansasy. Like it doesn't rip through the roller doesn't rip through this grass that well.
Well, he's got the secret of the grass break. Now they found their stupid little approaches, and we can see this.
Good do. Great eagle, eagle.
If I go to the profile section, you'll see there's some information on myself that the app is kept track of. So for instance, I've played 131 times using this app, so 131 rounds. I've played almost 2,000 holes, 1,897 holes. How many different courses I've played? I've played 12. So if I click on my map, I can zoom out and I can see all of the courses that I've played in the world, although I've only been to Manitoba, so I won't see any in like Europe or anything. But some people have some pretty interesting courses played, and you can see where they've been. So I've been into Toulon, Stonewall. I've been to a lot of the ones in Winnipeg, all the ones with actual baskets. I've gone down to Winkler area and played the couple in Winkler and the one in Morden area. Still have to make my way out to Portage and West and go try out some in the States. Just looking at, let's go back here. Oh, you can measure throws. So you can see like I can go into the field and I can throw a disc. And so if I want to go measure a throw, so here I am. Now I'm not going to throw in my house, but realistically I could measure a throw. So let's even look at some of my past throws since I'm just at my house. So on June 20th, 2020, I threw a backhand that was 350 feet. So where that box is, that's where I pressed start. And so then the map knew that's where my starting location was. I threw my disc where that orange disc is in the map. That's where my disc landed. So I pressed start, and then I walked all the way to where my disc landed, and I pressed stopped, and then it measured my throw. And now I'm able to share. I could share that with my friends. So then if we're seeing who could throw the farthest, we could keep track of who's been throwing on how far on what disc, and we can have little competitions in that sense. And just even the track can learn how far you do throw. So then when you get to the course and you got to throw a 350 foot shot or less, then you know what disc you need to do or what you need to use. Going back, now I can see all my practice throws, and I can get kind of an average on how far I'm throwing certain discs, and I can really learn my discs that way. So backhands, yeah. Anyways, something to play around with. And then finally, kind of my overall stats is I go down in my profile. You can just see all the analytics here. How many this is for my career here, are all time. I'm averaging over 9 strokes par per round. Where my best course is, look at all, so you can see like I'm shooting 7% birdie or better. You can see how many pars I've thrown on those almost 2,000 holes, how many are bogey, birdie, not many birdies, but I'm still learning. And then you can see there's different modes, which I'll show you in another video, but you can see even more specifically my statistics. I don't use this much. I'll go into more detail in a minute on that. You can see kind of some trends. So my last 20 rounds, my last 5 rounds, I can see from just 2021, or I can switch it to 2020. This is how I was doing. So in 2020, it says I played 81 rounds. In 2021, I've so far played 51 rounds. So pretty cool stuff. Events, if I press events, I can see all the different events in my area, and it says distance here. I can check like 500 miles away from me. I can see all the different events I could travel to now with COVID restrictions. I'm not going to go to Bemidji, Minnesota on October 3rd, but in different times, maybe that's something cool you might check out. Maybe there's somewhere within the 100-mile radius or kilometers, if you switch it to that way, that you might want to check out. But even here, you can see all the different Disc Golf Manitoba events, some different league nights, it looks like. And then if I go to map zone section, you can actually see where they are on the map and if they're close by. Okay, let's get out of here. Go to courses. I'm going to zoom out. This is Manitoba. So this is all the courses in Manitoba. In the last, like I said, last 2 years, it's gone probably from like 5 to 6 courses in Manitoba to now, well, you can see kind of for your own eyes. There's so many courses in Manitoba, and we're actually relatively, we're not growing as fast as some of the other places, and even at that, we're just exploding. If you go to Saskatchewan, there's a lot of courses you can play. That's just Saskatchewan. As you go west, Alberta even more so much that, and here's a little bit of BC, you can just see how many courses there are. Even in Calgary, look at the city of Calgary, all the different courses there are. And Edmonton. Now, if you want to really see, Edmonton, if you go to the States, they're probably 10 years ahead of us. We're kind of where they were 10 years ago. If you just go south of the border, you're just going to see baskets and baskets everywhere because there are so many courses that are popping up. Like even Fargo, that little city of Fargo has way more courses than just even Winnipeg. And the farther south you go to Minneapolis, it is just nuts. Look at all the courses here in Minneapolis. All the different places with baskets and places that are designated to play. It is just insane on how many places have disc golf in the States. This is just Minnesota here. I clicked on something. As I zoom out, you're going to see, like, it is crazy. It has grown so much. And if I zoom out, you can see kind of like even, I don't know how, but Baffin Island has disc golf. In the States, you can see all the different places. There's Africa, everywhere in the world right now. You can go anywhere on a trip and you can go play disc golf for spring break in a couple of years when hopefully COVID's all blown over. I go to Phoenix, I have a hotel, and I've got a couple hours to kill. Maybe you brought one disc with you and you're like, oh, let's just look in the area. Oh, Red Mountain State. I'm going to get directions.
Yes. Ricky Wysocki, ladies and gentlemen, from the drop zone. Oh.
It has been a while since we've seen one of these.
Oh, what a special moment for Ricky. Incredible. Oh, wow. There's a lot behind that putt right there, Nate.
Another thing I could do in the more section is I can work on my putting. I could practice. If I go to putting practice, I can measure from my basket 11 feet away, put a marker there or put something on the ground there, 22 feet, 33 feet away, 40 feet. So all those 6 different measurements, put different spots on the ground so I know where they are. And then I can take 5 shots from each spot. And I can kind of work on my different putting strokes and at different distances and kind of keep track of how efficient I am, what the numbers were. I press finish, and then it gives me the stats